All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, excited to be speaking with an individual who has quite the intriguing fight going down later on in the month. It's a flyweight tilt at UFC 270. We have Kay Hansen and Jasmine Jasudavicius testing skills inside the cage, and happy to be talking to Jasmine once again. How's all the training leading into this one here, Jasmine?
It's going really well. Exhausting, but awesome.
Yeah, it seems like you're getting in some great Niagara Top Team work as per the social media and stuff like that. Is that primarily where you've been getting in work for this one?
Yeah, I decided to stay home for this camp. I have great partners here. I've been traveling over to House of Champions. It's only about half an hour, 45-minute drive for me. So I've been fortunate to work with some of the girls there. Diana Belbia is there, and so it's nice. I'm getting rounds in with her as well as the other girls that are there. And then at Niagara Top Team, I have some girls too, which is nice. This is honestly the most girls that I've been able to train with here for a long time. So that's honestly why we've decided to stay here this time around. So it's been really, really great.
I imagine that's exciting for you because it just really speaks to the growth in the Niagara scene, and also specifically with more women's MMA fighters popping up in the area there, which ultimately is going to benefit your skills. So that's really cool to hear there.
Yeah, it's awesome. Prior to having the gym and having Niagara Top Team available, I was just training with the guys and just getting my ass beat all the time, which obviously made my growth accelerate, but yeah, it was tough, and it's nice to have girls. Girls' bodies are different, girls react different, and of course I'm still getting the rounds in with the guys, getting my ass whooped, but yeah, it's nice to have some competitive girls that give me really good work.
Yeah, and I was curious to ask you about this because I've talked to T-Shay and some other NTT fighters about this. It seems like with Niagara Top Team, people in the area understood the level of skill there and what was going on there, but I think through certain platforms like Contender Series, CFFC, stuff like that, I feel like there's more international recognition of what Niagara Top Team is bringing to the table. Is that kind of a characterization you share in as well? And also, have you kind of felt that growth of awareness, I suppose?
Yeah, I definitely agree. We've been super fortunate to be able to stay active. It's obviously really hard in Canada. Pow Pow just had a heartbreaker that he wasn't, put in a whole camp, and because the fight was in Canada, he wasn't able to fight. So it's nice that we, at Niagara Top Team, all the guys and the girls, we've been able to travel, and we've been able to fight kind of all over, and so we've been very fortunate to have those opportunities.
Yeah, some recent deflating instances for some of the local fighters. I can't even imagine what that feeling is like there. But to your point, great that there's international opportunities beyond just what's going on with all of that. But that could be, an altogether different conversation. But, we talked about the Niagara localized work and whatnot, but also historically have been able to get some work in Las Vegas. I know you were saying you were solely in Niagara for this one, but can you talk to some of the work you have been previously able to get at, say, Syndicate MMA, for instance? And also I saw you working with Brandon Moreno a little bit there, so that's a good look as well, to say the least.
Yeah, it was really sick in Vegas. I trained a lot at Syndicate, and so there was a lot of girls there that I was able to train with. That was obviously great, and we're actually going a little bit early, partly because of all this restriction shit and flying and all that. You don't want to mess around and try to cut it too close or anything. So we're going down early, so I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at Syndicate again. But yeah, while I was down there last time, I had the opportunity to train with Moreno. He has a group of guys that they were training at the PI. I don't know if they're still there. I assume probably they are. But yeah, there was a group with him, and I saw him a couple times at the PI, and then just like through some interactions, he invited me and to have a session with his team, and so it was awesome to see kind of like what they're doing in comparison to what we're doing, and it's like that, you know, he's such a good guy, and he's like the champion is like the perfect kind of adjective for him. He's just like within the sport and outside of the sport, he's so humble, and he's so nice, and yeah, I can't honestly speak highly enough about him, and like being able to be on the same card as him, it's so cool to me.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, and I mean, not directly aligned with like the camp or this fight card per se, but I've heard from other fighters there's a certain benefit to being in the room with people who are like champions, sharing similar spaces on cards and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's cool to see that kind of like, you know, champ mindset and just what he does in his own preparations. I imagine there's a level of quietly studying it, or maybe even like chopping it up, picking the brain sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just being around champions is going to rub off on you, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think like that kind of point can be extended to, you know, people within the corner as well, at least in the last fight there. Like I was seeing that Mike Pyle, obviously a UFC veteran, and Chris Prickett, part of the corner there. Is that going to be the corner dynamic for this one? Are you restricted to maybe one corner with pandemic stuff? Like, how does all of that work?
No, so I'm still able to have three corners. So this time around, I have still obviously Chris Prickett. He's my main coach and boyfriend, everything. So he's in my corner, as well as my coach this time around, Matt DiMarcantonio. He's been with me since day one, and I'm so happy that this time he's able to be in my corner. He was in my corner for like many of my fights before. I think almost all of them before, but for Contender Series, he just had a baby prior, so he wasn't able to make it. His second kid, actually, he missed another one of my fights because he had his daughter first. But yeah, so this time around, Matt DiMarcantonio, he's in my corner, and then as well as Matthew Jelly. So I met him in Vegas, and he's from Alberta. So we got him down here, and he's been staying, like, living at my house for the past, I think, couple of months now. And yeah, he's a great addition to the team. He's just leveling us all up, and we're blessed to have him around. So that's my corner for this fight, and you know, every fight's different, and I don't know for the next one, but yeah, this time around it's Jelly, D-Marks, and Chris.
Yeah, it seems like moving into the Prickett house is kind of like a part of getting your stripes at Niagara Top Team. I mean, like Zach Powell was living there for a bit and whatnot.
Yeah, it's funny. We've got a couple extra rooms here, so it's nice to be able to offer that to people. It's so cool, like having this environment that we live in. It's like it's a fighter's house. Like we're always talking about fighting. We're watching it. We're like it's never turned off. So it's like no matter what, even if you want to get away from it, you really can. Which is it's so I'm so fortunate to have it. I have both my striking coach and my grappling coach literally living with me. So anytime it's like, you know, it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm laying in bed and I remember something. It's like I could just run downstairs and ask them. I don't have to wait till practice the next day or message them, and then it gets, you know, the communication isn't the best over text or whatever. It's so I'm so fortunate, and I'm so happy with the setup that I have right now.
Yeah, it seems like a great setup by all accounts, and a great, you know, friendship with a lot of the people there, even while getting in that great work there. So yeah, a big part of like the learning really resonating I would have to think. But, speaking of friends, I've been kind of curious about this a little bit because obviously in our past conversations it's been talked about where your best friend's supposed to get a tattoo of your face on her and stuff like that. Is that after you step into the Octagon? Is that like post UFC debut? Have they already bitten the bullet and got it? Like, how does that all work out?
Yeah, she's still getting it. So it we did plan on doing it after I got the contract, but kind of like life got crazy, and then I got the fight and got into camp and everything like that. So we're gonna wait until after my debut, and then get like a film crew and everything to document it. It's gonna be nuts, yeah. And she said she wants to work out a little bit, make sure her ass looks good for the camera.
No, that must be interesting for her to just see your journey and stuff like that. Like, how often do you guys even like obviously it's like a funny kind of component, like the tattoo sort of thing, but like how much is it like an enjoyable thing to, I guess, have those conversations and to talk about that growth and stuff like that? Because it's a really wild ride in a lot of regards there. I imagine some chats have been had in that sense.
Yeah, it's so cool because it started off just as like a little joke, and it just kind of like grew, and like now everyone knows about it. After I got the contract, it was like her mom messaged me. She's like, "Looks like Kylie's getting that tattoo," and it's so funny. Like everyone's so like involved with the story, and they saw me literally like start MMA. I didn't throw a punch, a kick, nothing for my entire life, and then I just like started dive in head first, all my eggs in one basket, and they watched the whole thing. So they've been along in the journey the entire time, and it's so cool to like see it kind of from start to I don't want to say finish, but you know what I mean. It's crazy.
Yeah, a fun journey to follow along with for sure. And I'm kind of wondering, like, just in terms of like the specific opponent for this one, like when did Kay Hansen initially be a name that popped up on your radar? Like, obviously there was the initial kind of go around with having the fight like a bit earlier in the month, but a slight rescheduling with that. But like when did the, I guess, Kay Hansen bout offer initially pop up on your radar?
I forget when it was. Honestly, it's like all these days mash into that. You get so tired during camp, you don't even know what day start, what day finishes. So I don't remember exactly when it was, but all I remember is like seeing my phone and it said like Mick Maynard. How your contact said like suggested Mick Maynard or whatever it is, because you're, and I was like, and then I just like put down my phone, walked away, and then like walked right back over to my phone, and then he's like, "Oh, fight offer." Gave me the name Kay Hansen, and I said, "Oh, thank you so much. I'll send it to my team right now." Sent it to them. The coaches looked at it like right away. Obviously, we're not going to turn down the fight, and then text me. They text me back, take it, and then now we're here.
Yeah, and just based on how you were describing the events there, it would seem like the coaches are doing the heavy tape study, breaking your opponent down as they should. But how much of Kay Hansen have you been checking out? Because, I mean, there's a fair bit you could, I suppose, like an Invicta FC veteran, has had multiple bouts under that banner, has had a couple UFC fights at this point. Like, how much tape study do you individually do? Or is it mostly allocating that to the coaches and you're just refining your own skills more so?
Yeah, I let my coaches do it. Honestly, she hasn't fought in a year, so she could be a completely different fighter. I don't really watch. I'll do like a once over, watch like their last fight kind of thing. But everyone's different. Fight from one fight to the next, unless it's like they fought, 2 months prior, something like that. Then you can make so many changes within, especially a year like she's had, and so I I personally, I don't watch too much tape. I've never really watched that much tape on my opponents. You know, it's like going into a sparring session. You figure it out on the fly. Whoever's standing in front of you. It's same as a fight. You just figure it out on the fly. And you know, my coach, I believe in my coaches 100%. They'll watch us fight and see what she's offering me, and then they'll be telling me from the corner. So I don't know. I don't really care about tape too much.
No, that's totally fair and everything like that. Just, yeah, I mean, they're there for a reason. They're breaking down the tape. And I mean, you talk about how much fighters can change and evolve seemingly fight to fight. I mean, that's even something we were kind of talking about in one of our last chats there, how some of like your earlier fights would be just these like blitzing finishes sort of thing. And then sort of the CFFC title bid there, you go the 5 rounds and it's like, okay, change the methodology a little bit and everything like that. So yeah, it seems like the growth is something you probably understand on a localized level too, just how much one can learn in a certain period of time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just think about like my last fight in comparison to like my last sparring session yesterday. You know, it's like I'm completely different than what I showed in Contender Series. So, you know, who knows what she's going to be doing? Who knows what I'm going to be doing?
But as far as what you're going to be doing beyond this fight, I mean, this one in the 125-pound category, but you've also had past efforts at, you know, a catch weight and different straw weight rundowns and stuff like that. Like, is the sole path flyweight at this point, you're thinking, or could there be opportunities whereby a foray at straw weight could entice you to go down?
Yeah, for the right opportunity, I would certainly go down. I mean, I'm very happy at 125, and it's nice because my life outside of fighting is a lot better. Whereas when I fight at 115, it's like I'm watching every calorie. Like it's yeah. It's a tough cut. Everyone, you gotta make sacrifices, but it's tough. I'm dieting all camp, and I'm not enjoying it very much. I love food, and 125 is really nice for me. I'm good size for 25, so right now I'm very happy with it. But I'm certainly not against going down to 115. I like having options, and I could definitely see myself doing it again.
Yeah, well, like it would seem hard to do a super strict diet and, you know, the kind of household you have. I mean, I guess that being said, like, I feel like Aaron Jeffrey and yourself have cooked things that look really good but have a certain level of health value. Like the last time we were talking, you were getting into the shawarma pretty heavy, it seemed like in terms of whipping that up.
Yeah, no, I love cooking. I really enjoy, like, outside of fighting, I'd say, like, my second passion would be cooking. So it's nice being able to actually eat the food I'm cooking.
Yeah, and it looks great, too. Like, I was enjoying that a fair bit, too. But, yeah, it's been great getting to talk to you. And like I said earlier before we kind of started the chat, I do want to be mindful of your time. I imagine you're quite busy. So to that point, is there anything you might want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping things up here, Jasmine?
No, just thank you so much for having me, and it's always great chatting.
Oh, that's a shared sentiment. I always enjoy talking to you, and this is going to be a huge one. UFC debut, and a big card, too, in Ngannou vs. Gane, UFC 270. Make sure you're checking that out. January 22nd, Kay Hansen and Jasmine Jasudavicius testing skills at flyweight. And just, yeah, really looking forward to that fight, Jasmine. Best of luck with the rest of the preparations here. Hope the travel goes as smoothly as it possibly can, and just have a good rest of your day, too.
Thank you very much. You as well.